Hello everyone and welcome to me talking about food, the patriarchy, my period, bloating, and other cool things. Please stay tuned. How ironic that I'm starting this video which is supposed to tell you what to eat on your period to stay in a good shape with store-bought, full-fat, all sugary cinnamon rolls. Hint hint, this might foreshadow a bit the message of the video, hint hint. And you might wonder, Hannah, why do you think cinnamon rolls at 10:30 on a Wednesday morning are the right choice? And I may answer, because they're delicious A, and B, because I need even more comfort foods on my period than on normal days. But don't worry, you will see a bunch of different meals here and I will still get to the topic of cravings as well, because I have a lot of them. So it's currently Wednesday noon, almost noon, and I'm only gonna get my period tomorrow, but I'm feeling something. And for me it's like this really strong urge to just go to bed and eat something warm. I'm not really sure what to cook because my stomach isn't feeling the best, but I should definitely eat something. So I have a few fresh vegetables I was thinking to make a soup, but I don't really know if I have anything besides miso paste, so. This morning I probably started with my infamous yogurt granola bowl that keeps me full for approximately 2 hours. Of course that meant I needed a snack that kept me up until lunchtime, and on other days this might be a small sandwich or a protein bar, but when I'm on my period I need to do everything in my ability to make me feel as comfortable as possible. Even if that would mean to only eat fries and not leave my bed for 3 days. Today I opted for cinnamon rolls, but for lunch I definitely felt like a vegetable-filled hearty meal like the one you currently see me cooking. Luckily, I got back into buying fresh vegetables instead of just relying on frozen ones. My meals this week were definitely good as hell and highly repetitive. Ooh, I love steamy food. I'm super hungry because after my lunch and the rest of the cinnamon rolls I haven't eaten anything yet, and it's 6, and for me that means I need to eat something. Well, as you saw, my afternoons this week are characterized by an obsessive amount of cola to keep me awake and functioning. Believe me, there's more to come. And I kind of forgot to snack on something more substantial than the cinnamon rolls, so I was obviously ravenous at 6 p.m, which led to a pre-dinner snack you just saw. For dinner, I ordered takeout because who has the time to cook 3 meals a day, and it was so good. Good morning everyone, here's me doing my morning ritual, which is a big coffee and yawning every 3 seconds. This morning was especially rainy and cozy, so please just enjoy the coffee making skills of tired me for a second. I'm not ready for normal food yet, but I have a few meetings soon where I don't really have time, so I'm just gonna have a bread with like something. Feeling nauseous in the morning is definitely included in my period skill set, and it's annoying as hell because I have a passion for eating. Sometimes I wish I could eat double the amount of calories I currently eat just to enjoy more food, but my stomach is actually way too tiny for that. When it comes to meals, I usually just eat whatever I feel like in that moment. I think some people call that intuitive eating or just eating. During my period, I especially keep this up because I strongly believe that my body and my uterus should be supported and appreciated in a time where parts of it are literally shredded to pieces and ejected. If that means I basically just eat carbs in the form of bread and breadsticks, that might be the right thing in this moment. If that means I consume a higher amount of sugary and processed food than usual, that is alright too. In the end, I trust and know myself enough to know that at some point I will consume something nutritious or green or homemade, at some point in the day, or the week. This will be a craving as well. In this case, it's my leftover poke bowl and some professionally cut cucumber.
You're speaking my love language. My love language is your love and affection. Won't you give?
I'm not hungry, but you know, it's Thursday afternoon and I'm on my period, so I think that says everything. I think there's also a different topic we should address: overeating. Here you can see me eating half a pint of yogurt after I had coffee, bread, breadsticks, cola, a big lunch and ice cream I didn't like. I meant it when I said I wasn't hungry, but nevertheless I ate. And to be honest, speaking for me, even this has to happen sometimes. I'm not talking about having no control over what and how much you eat and feeling physically sick. I'm talking about this feeling of wanting to eat something even when your stomach is not growling. Especially during this time of my cycle, I need to make sure to properly hydrate and nurture my body because it's literally bleeding stuff out. That requires energy. And energy is this beautiful, nutritious salad bowl, but it's also the salty chips I had before. Both give my body different things, but are equally important, especially when I'm having a mental breakdown. Let's talk bloating. It seems to be quite common for people with vaginas and their respective reproductive organs to be or feel excessively bloated during period days. And we all know what we get recommended, especially by people earning money from their recommendations. Detox teas, pills, celery juice, certain fruits, avoiding this, avoiding that. And probably that works for a bunch of people. You know what helps me the most? Lying on my stomach for a good half an hour and to just chill the hell out. This might be a super specific me thing, but I feel like stress increases my bloating more than any foods or my period altogether. And who knows, maybe it's similar for someone else too. Maybe the bodily stress from being on a period leads to bloating more than water retention or the wrong foods at the wrong time. Again, as I said, this is my personal experience, but mental exercises and focus on calmness might help just as much. In the book The Path of the Empress that I read a few years ago, the authors described the different stages of the quotation marks female cycle and how each of those can influence your period. That is something that really stuck with me for some time, and I realized that the more stressful my last cycle was, the worse my period will be in terms of pain, bloating, and other physical and mental symptoms. It might be worth monitoring your cycle a bit more and noticing stress factors as well as how your period differs from month to month. We briefly interrupt this highly informative video for my Asian grocery store haul. Yay! I got some rice cakes, seaweed, a bunch of sauces and noodles, and the stuff I'm trying here was the boom. Okay, back to business. Dinner time was basically exactly the same stuff of the last days. I'm a creature of habit, I'm sorry. But the script will be interesting, I promise. In short, I really think that people with vaginas and menstrual cycles should at least get 1 day off per month to be used during the time of the period. And no, I do not think it's unfair to people without vaginas who might not get this additional day. In general, I would argue in a similar way as I would when it comes to mental health related sick days. Think about it. If you catch a cold, you didn't choose to get sick. If you have food poisoning, you didn't choose to not get away from the bathroom for 2 days on end. You might have a teeny tiny fault in this. Maybe you went out in 10 degrees in rain with a shirt, or you decided to eat long expired meat. But in the end, you are not to blame for getting sick. My mom used to have the opinion that if you don't have a high fever, or you're on the verge of passing out, you can still go to school or work or wherever. Which led to me skipping school a bunch because of performance pressure, and also my anxiety issues that were not physical symptoms, that were not as important. I wouldn't blame anyone who was born before the 90s to have this kind of mindset, because I do think that the focus and recognition of mental health in the Western world got more widespread only over the last 15 to 20 years. I also think it really depends on your character and how much weight you put into your physicality and mental space. Going back to mental health and periods, I'm definitely for sick days when it comes to mental health. I personally suffer from anxieties, and some days it just doesn't benefit anyone if I would force myself to work, especially not myself and my work motivation. And mental health issues are a universal thing. Well, periods are not, but that brings me back to my initial point. People with periods didn't choose to have periods. We briefly interrupt this program for my second workout of the week, which I actually managed to film halfway. Mostly it's just the stretching that you can see here. I'm a stretching loser, to be honest. I barely ever stretch, and then I did a leg workout, which didn't work out so well because I have no balance whatsoever. Okay, bye. People with periods didn't choose to have periods. I certainly also didn't choose to have a vagina. People don't choose to have mental health issues. People don't choose to be sick. And I'm not saying by any means that periods are like diseases, but the symptoms some experience are certainly not pleasant and can highly affect your physical and mental space. I guess my conclusion is to take care of yourself, whatever that might mean. And not just on your period, but always. And that might be eating a bunch of fries or eating a bunch of carrots, sleeping 10 hours or not at all, going out or staying in, working out or taking a bath. I just think that our well-being is worth way more than we ever imagine, and it's definitely worth checking in with yourself. I definitely enjoy talking to you, and I hope that whatever I was saying in the last 15 minutes was of interest for you, and you could take some ideas of that with you. Maybe you have your own thoughts on this topic and you would like to share them with me. I would definitely be interested. I also wanted to leave you with the best lunch I've ever had in my life, probably, which was vegan Asian tapas. And they were amazing. And I want more of those.